In a quiet town called Eldridge, life moved slowly. The sun shone brightly, casting warm rays over the playground where children played. Among them was a girl named Lily, with bright eyes and a wild imagination. She loved to explore, climbing trees and pretending to be a pirate on the high seas. Her laughter filled the air, bringing joy to everyone around her. But today, Lily was alone at the edge of the playground. Her friends had gone home, and her mother was deep in conversation with other parents. Lily's eyes wandered to the shimmering surface of the pond nearby, and she felt a strange pull toward it. The water sparkled like diamonds under the sun. And without thinking, she took a step closer. Suddenly, she lost her balance and fell into the pond with a loud splash. Panic hit her like a wave. She flailed, struggling to keep her head above water. The laughter and chatter around her faded, replaced by her own frightened gasps. When Jake, a kind-hearted man who had once been a firefighter, noticed the commotion, he felt a surge of urgency. He had always been the type to help others, to step in without hesitation. Without a moment's thought, he sprinted toward the water. The world around him blurred as he focused solely on saving the child who was in danger. "Hold on, I'm coming," he shouted, plunging into the chilly water. The cold stung his skin, but adrenaline pushed him forward. He swam with powerful strokes, feeling the current pull at him, desperate to reach Lily. As he got closer, he could see the fear in her eyes, and it fueled his determination. Finally, he reached her. He wrapped his arms around her small body and kicked off the bottom of the pond, propelling them both toward the shore. The cheers from the crowd were distant sounds. All he could think about was getting Lily safe. As they broke the surface, he gasped for air, feeling both the weight of the water and the lightness of hope. Once on the grass, Jake laid Lily down gently. He checked her for signs of breathing and immediately started performing CPR. With each push of his hands, he whispered, a quiet prayer for her safety. The world around them faded away, and all that mattered was the little girl in front of him. After a few tense moments, Lily coughed up water and gasped for air. Relief washed over Jake, and the crowd erupted in cheers. Lily's mother rushed to her side, tears of joy streaming down her face. But Jake felt a strange emptiness inside. He looked around, sensing that something was off, as if he were being watched. But when he glanced toward the trees, he saw nothing but the peaceful park. Days went by, and Jake found himself replaying the rescue over and over in his mind. He felt proud of what he had done, but also burdened by a lingering sense of distance. He had always been the kind of person to help others, but after the incident, he felt a gap between him and the world around him. It was as if he had reached a new height of bravery, but it also created a chasm of loneliness. One afternoon, while sitting on a park bench, Jake remembered his best friend, Sam, who had moved to another city months ago. They had shared countless adventures, from hiking in the mountains to late-night talks about their dreams. Sam had been his confidant, someone who understood him deeply. But with Sam gone, Jake felt a profound sense of loss. He missed their laughter, their plans, and the way Sam always encouraged him to be his best self. Jake pulled out his phone, staring at Sam's number. He hesitated, unsure of what to say. He wanted to reconnect, to share his feelings and the story of his recent heroism, but the distance felt overwhelming. What if Sam had changed? What if their friendship had faded like the colors of a sunset? Taking a deep breath, Jake typed a message. "Hey, Sam. It's been a while. I just wanted to check in and see how you're doing." He felt a flutter of anxiety as he hit send. Would Sam respond? Would they be able to pick up where they left off? Days passed without a reply, and Jake's heart sank. What if he had lost his best friend for good? He watched the children play. In the park, their carefree laughter reminding him of happier times with Sam. He felt a deep sadness wash over him, but he also felt a spark of hope. He remembered how he had rushed into the pond to save Lily. He had faced danger without hesitation, and now he needed to face his fears of reaching out to Sam. Determined, Jake decided to take action. He would visit Sam. He gathered his courage and made plans for the weekend. He would drive to the city, surprising Sam and showing him that their friendship was still strong, no matter the distance. On the day of the trip, Jake felt a mix of excitement and nerves. As he drove, he thought about all the memories they had shared. The closer he got to Sam's new home, the more anxious he became. What if their friendship had changed too much? Finally, he arrived at Sam's apartment complex. Taking a deep breath, he walked to the door and knocked. Moments felt like hours as he waited. Just when he thought he might turn back, the door swung open. "Jake!" Sam exclaimed, his face lighting up with surprise. "I can't believe you're here." They hugged tightly, and in that moment, Jake felt the distance between them shrink. They spent the afternoon reminiscing, sharing stories and laughter, just like old times. Jake told Sam about rescuing Lily, and Sam listened with awe, his eyes shining with admiration as the sun began to set, casting a warm glow around them. Jake realized that even though life took them in different directions, their friendship had remained strong. They promised to stay in touch more regularly, bridging the gap that distance had created. That day, Jake learned that true connections can withstand time and space. He had saved Lily without hesitation, but it was his willingness to reach out to Sam that truly saved him from loneliness. As they sat together, laughing and reminiscing, he felt a renewed sense of hope that friendships could endure, that love could transcend distance, and that he could always find his way back to those who mattered most. And so, as the sun dipped below the horizon, he realized that he had not only saved a child, but had also rescued a part of himself. Unaware of who had watched him from the shadows that day, he felt a warmth in his heart, knowing that he was never truly alone. After the heartwarming reunion with Sam, Jake felt a sense of hope that had been missing for months. Their time together reminded him of the strong bond they shared, despite the miles that separated them. As he drove back to Eldridge, his mind buzzed with ideas on how to keep their friendship alive. Back home, life resumed its normal pace, but Jake felt different. He was more determined to reach out, not just to Sam, but to others as well. He realized that friendships require effort, especially when distance is involved. Inspired by his rescue of Lily and the connection he felt with Sam, he decided to take action. That evening, Jake sat at his kitchen table, his laptop open in front of him. He created a simple website dedicated to staying in touch with friends. He called it Friendship Bridge. The idea was to create a space where he and his friends could share updates, photos, and memories. He wanted to make it easy for everyone to connect, no matter where they were. As he worked on the site, he thought of Sam and how much he missed their late-night talks and adventures. Jake added a section for everyone to post their favorite memories, funny stories, pictures from trips, and even silly videos. He hoped this would encourage others to contribute and share their lives. Keeping the friendships alive. When he finished the website, he sent a link to Sam, along with a message. "Hey, I made something to help us stay connected. I hope you like it." He felt excited about the project and hoped Sam would appreciate the effort. Days passed, and Jake kept checking the site. Slowly, more friends began to join. Sam was the first to post. He shared a funny story about his new job and included a picture of his new cat, Mr. Whiskers. Jake smiled at the sight and felt a warmth in his heart. It was like they were sharing moments again, even from afar. As the weeks went by, more friends joined the site. Jake's idea blossomed into a hub of laughter and memories. They shared photos from family gatherings, updates on their lives, and even planned virtual hangouts. Jake felt a sense of accomplishment and happiness as he watched. Friendships flourish despite the distance. However, there was still a part of him that felt incomplete. He missed Sam's presence, the easy way they could talk about anything and everything. One evening, as he lay in bed, he thought about how to deepen their connection. He remembered how much they loved hiking together, exploring nature and challenging each other to reach new heights. Suddenly, an idea struck him. What if they could plan a hiking trip? Sam had mentioned a beautiful national park near his new city. Jake grabbed his phone and sent a message. How about a hiking trip? I'd love to visit you and explore that park we talked about. He felt a rush of excitement as he hit send. The thought of being outdoors, surrounded by nature, filled him with energy. It would be a chance to reconnect in person and create new memories. A few days later, Sam replied with enthusiasm. Yes, let's do it. I can't wait to show you the trails. It'll be just like old times. Jake's heart soared. They set a date for the trip, and the anticipation built with each passing day. When the day finally arrived, Jake packed his gear and set off on the road to Sam's city. He felt a mix of excitement and nerves. Would things feel the same? Would they still connect like they used to? As he drove, he replayed memories of their past adventures, hoping for more unforgettable moments to come. After a few hours, Jake arrived at Sam's apartment. When Sam opened the door, as the days turned into weeks after Jake's hiking trip with Sam, he felt a renewed sense of purpose. Their adventure had sparked something inside him, a desire to nurture connections and strengthen relationships with those he cared about. Yet, despite the joy of their reunion, he couldn't shake the feeling of distance that lingered with other friends who had also moved away. Jake had a close-knit group of friends from high school, each of whom had scattered to different parts of the country for college and work. Their group had always been tight, filled with laughter, inside jokes, and shared dreams. But as time passed and life got busier, Jake noticed that their communication became less frequent. Texts turned into infrequent updates, and phone calls faded into silence. Sitting in his living room one evening, Jake scrolled through old photos on his phone. Memories flooded back road trips, beach days, and countless nights spent talking about their futures. He smiled at the happiness captured in those moments, but felt a pang of sadness at how far apart they had grown. He missed the bond they all shared. Inspired by his recent success with Sam, Jake decided to reach out to the rest of his friends. He opened a group chat and sent a message. Hey everyone, I was thinking about how much fun we used to have together. Let's plan a reunion. It would be great to catch up and relive some of those amazing times. Jake hit send, his heart racing. With anticipation, he hoped they would respond positively. Minutes passed, and Jake felt nervous. Would they remember the good times? Would they be excited to reconnect? Just when he started to doubt himself, replies began to pour in. Count me in, replied Mark, who had moved to a city a few hours away. Absolutely. I miss you guys, added Sarah, who had gone to college across the country. I'll be there. Let's make it a weekend to remember, chimed in Lisa, who had recently settled in a new job. Jake felt a wave of relief wash over him. Excitement bubbled inside as they started discussing dates and locations. They settled on a cabin near the lake, a place they had visited many times in their youth. It felt like the perfect spot to reconnect and create new memories. As the date of the reunion approached, Jake began preparing for the weekend. He planned activities they used to enjoy: hiking, swimming, and sitting around the campfire at night, sharing stories and laughter. He wanted to make this reunion special, a chance for everyone to feel the magic of their friendship again. Finally, the weekend arrived. Jake drove to the cabin his heart filled with anticipation. When he arrived, he was the first to reach the location. The cabin stood proudly by the lake, surrounded by tall trees and vibrant flowers. He could almost hear the echoes of laughter from their past adventures. One by one, his friends arrived. They hugged tightly, smiles spreading across their faces. Mark brought along a guitar, and Sarah had packed a basket of snacks. The warmth of their friendship enveloped Jake, and he felt the distance between them start to fade out as the sun began to set. They gathered around the campfire. Flames danced and crackled, filling the air with a comforting warmth. Jake felt a sense of belonging wash over him as they shared stories from their lives. Mark played the guitar, and they sang old songs, their voices harmonizing like they had never skipped a beat. Later, as the fire flickered, Jake felt a moment of courage. "You know, I've really missed all of you," he said, looking around at his friends. "It's been tough feeling distant, but I'm so glad we're together again." Lisa nodded, her eyes shining. "Me too, Jake. Life gets busy, but our friendship means a lot to me." Sarah added, "We should do this more often. We can't let life pull us apart like this." Jake smiled at their words, feeling a sense of hope blossoming inside him. They all agreed to make a commitment to stay connected, no matter where life took them. They would schedule regular catch-ups, whether in person or through video calls. The promise of maintaining their friendship felt like a weight lifting off Jake's shoulders as the night went on. They shared more stories and laughter. They talked about their dreams, their struggles, and the paths they had taken. Jake felt inspired by his friends' journeys and their resilience. Each of them had faced challenges, yet they had also found ways to thrive. The next morning, they hiked to a nearby viewpoint. The sun rose slowly, painting the sky with shades of orange and pink. Standing together at the top, they took in the breathtaking view of the valley below. In that moment, Jake felt grateful for the friendships he had fought to rekindle. "Look, how far we've come," Mark exclaimed, gesturing to the horizon. "And we're still standing strong together." "Yeah, we can face anything as long as we have each other," Sarah added, smiling brightly. Jake's heart swelled with pride. He felt like a hero, not just for saving Lily, but for taking the initiative to bring his friends back together. He realized that true heroism wasn't just about brave acts. It was about nurturing the relationships that matter most, even when life gets busy. As they descended from the hike, Jake felt a renewed sense of connection with his friends. They spent the rest of the weekend swimming in the lake, playing games, and simply enjoying each other's company. The laughter echoed through the trees, a joyful reminder of their enduring bond. On the final night of the reunion, they gathered around the campfire once more. As the flames flickered and the stars filled the night sky, they shared their hopes for the future. Jake encouraged everyone to pursue their dreams, reminding them that they had the strength to achieve anything together. "We're a team, no matter where we are," Jake declared, feeling the warmth of friendship surround him. "Let's promise to support each other always." With cheers and laughter, they made a pact to stay connected. Each friend shared a commitment to reach out regularly, to check in, and to celebrate each other's successes. The fire crackled as they sealed their promise with laughter and smiles. As Jake lay in his sleeping bag that night, he reflected on the weekend. He felt fulfilled and hopeful. The distance that once felt so heavy had been replaced by a sense of unity and love. He realized that friendships, like any strong bond, require effort and commitment. By reaching out, he had not only saved his relationships, but had also strengthened himself. Unaware of who had watched from the shadows, Jake felt a sense of peace wash over him. He had saved a child and rekindled the connections that mattered most in his life. With a heart full of hope, he drifted off to sleep, knowing that distance could not diminish the bonds of true friendship. After the wonderful reunion at the cabin, Jake returned to Eldridge feeling invigorated and hopeful. The laughter and stories shared with his friends had rekindled a fire in him, a reminder of the importance of connection. But as the days turned into weeks, he felt a familiar sadness creeping back. While he had reconnected with his closest friends, there was still one person he missed dearly, his childhood friend, Maya, who had moved to another state for work. Maya had been more than just a friend. She had been like a sister to Jake. They had grown up together, sharing secrets, dreams, and countless adventures. When she had moved away for a job opportunity, Jake felt a deep void in his life. They kept in touch at first, but as time passed, their conversations became less frequent, and Jake found himself longing for their connection. One rainy afternoon, Jake sat on his porch, watching the raindrops race down the window. He thought about Maya's infectious laughter and her unwavering support. He remembered the late-night talks they used to have, where they would share their dreams and fears. It all felt so far away now, and he missed her more than he could express. Determined to change that, Jake picked up his phone and stared at Maya's contact. He hesitated, unsure of what to say. What if she had moved on? What if she didn't want to talk anymore? But deep down, he knew he had to reach out. He decided to send her a message. "Hey, Maya. It's been a while. I hope you're doing well. I've been thinking about you a lot and would love to catch up. Let me know if you're free to chat sometime." After hitting send, Jake felt both nervous and hopeful. He spent the rest of the day distracted, wondering if she would reply. He thought about the last time they spoke, how they promised to stay in touch no matter the distance. But life had a way of pulling them apart, and he wished he had made more effort to keep that promise. The next morning, as he sipped his coffee, his phone buzzed. It was a message from Maya. His heart raced as he opened it. "Jake, I'm so happy to hear from you. I've missed you too. Let's set up a time to chat. How about this weekend?" Relief washed over him, and a smile spread across his face. "That sounds perfect. I can't wait," he replied, feeling a warmth in his chest. Not as the weekend approached, Jake felt a mix of excitement and nerves. He wanted to make the conversation meaningful, to reconnect on a deeper level. He thought about all the things he wanted to share with her, his stories from his life, the memories they had created together, and how much he valued their friendship. Saturday arrived. Jake found himself pacing around his living room, anxious yet eager. He prepared a cup of tea and settled into his favorite chair, ready for the call. As the clock ticked closer to the scheduled time, he took a deep breath, reminding himself of all the good times they had shared. Finally, his phone rang, and he saw Maya's name on the screen. His heart leaped with joy, and he quickly answered. "Maya, it's so good to hear your voice." "Jake, it's great to hear yours too," she replied. Jake's excitement grew as his trip to visit Maya approached. He had spent weeks planning every detail, thinking about the things they could do together. He wanted to make this visit special, a chance to revive their friendship and create new memories. As the day of his flight arrived, he felt a mix of nerves and anticipation. When Jake stepped off the plane, he was greeted by the warm breeze of Maya's city. He could hardly contain his excitement as he made his way to baggage claim. He texted Maya, "Just landed. Can't wait to see you." A few minutes later, he spotted Maya's familiar face in the crowd, her smile lighting up the airport. They rushed into each other's arms and hugged tightly. "Jake, I'm so glad you're here," she exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with joy. "I'm so happy to see you too," Jake replied, feeling the warmth of their friendship surround him. It felt like no time had passed at all. Despite the distance that had kept them apart, they spent the first day exploring the city. Maya showed Jake her favorite spots, coffee shops, parks, and even a small bookstore that smelled of old pages and adventure. They talked and laughed, sharing stories about their lives since their last visit. Jake felt the bond between them grow stronger with each passing moment. As they walked through a park, Maya stopped and looked at Jake. "I've missed this, just being with you. It's like we never left each other," she said, her voice full of emotion. Jake nodded, feeling a lump in his throat. "Me too. I realized how important our friendship is to me. I want to make sure we don't lose this again." "Absolutely," Maya agreed. "We need to make time for each other, no matter where we are. Life is too short to let distance come between us." That evening, they went to a local restaurant known for its delicious food. As they enjoyed their meal, they talked about their dreams and aspirations. Maya shared her goals for her career, and Jake talked about his passion for helping others and his recent experience saving Lily. "You're amazing, Jake," Maya said, her eyes wide with admiration. "You really are a hero for what you did." Jake shrugged, feeling a bit shy. "I just did what I felt was right. I want to make a difference, even if it's in small ways." "You already do," Maya replied, her voice sincere. "You inspire me to be brave and to chase my dreams. I hope I can be as strong as you." As the night went on, they reminisced about their childhood adventures, the time they built a treehouse, the summer they camped in the backyard, and the silly games they played. Each memory brought laughter and a sense of comfort. Jake felt as if they were reconnecting the pieces of their friendship that had been scattered by time. The next day, Maya suggested they visit a nearby hiking trail. "I know how much you love being outdoors, and I think it would be fun," she said, her excitement contagious. Jake agreed eagerly, and soon they were on their way to the trailhead. The weather was perfect, with the sun shining brightly and a gentle breeze rustling the leaves. As they hiked, they talked about everything: their hopes, fears, and the lessons they had learned during their time apart. Halfway up the trail, they reached a beautiful viewpoint overlooking the valley below. The sight took Jake's breath away. He remembered similar moments they had shared in the past, standing on top of the world together. "Look at that view!" Maya exclaimed, her arms wide open as if to embrace the landscape. "It's incredible." "It really is," Jake agreed, feeling a sense of peace wash over him. He took a deep breath, feeling grateful for this moment. "I'm so glad we did this." As they stood there, a comfortable silence fell between them, filled only by the sounds of nature. Jake felt a surge of emotion, realizing how much he had missed sharing these experiences with Maya. He turned to her, feeling a deep connection. "You know, I've learned that life can be unpredictable. We have to hold on to the people who matter." Maya nodded thoughtfully. "You're right. We can't take our friendships for granted. It's a reminder to cherish the moments we have together." As they made their way back down the trail, Jake felt a sense of determination. He wanted to keep the momentum going, to ensure that their friendship remained strong. He thought about the idea of starting a group chat for all their friends again, a way to keep everyone connected no matter where they lived. Later that evening, they returned to Maya's apartment, tired but happy. As they sat on the couch, Jake shared his idea. "What if we create a group chat for all of our friends? We can share updates, plan trips, and keep in touch." "I don't want to lose anyone again." Maya's face lit up. "That's a great idea. We can make it a place where everyone can share their lives and stay connected, just like we used to." With excitement, they set up the group chat and invited everyone. Jake felt a sense of hope as he watched the messages start to flow in. Friends were sharing their lives, and it felt like a bridge was being built between them again. As the days went by, Jake and Maya continued to explore the city and strengthen their bond. They visited art galleries, tried new foods, and even attended a local music festival. Each experience brought them closer together, and Jake felt grateful for the Time they had. On the last evening of his visit, Jake and Maya found themselves sitting on her balcony, watching the sunset. The sky was painted with beautiful hues of orange and pink. It was a perfect ending to a wonderful trip. "I'm going to miss this," Maya said softly, her gaze fixed on the horizon. "Me too," Jake replied, feeling a lump in his throat. "But I know we'll stay connected. I won't let distance come between us again." Maya smiled, her eyes sparkling with hope. "You've always been my rock, Jake. I believe we can make this work." As they shared their hopes for the future, Jake felt a newfound determination. He knew that friendships required effort, but he was ready to put in the work. He felt empowered by his experiences, both in saving Lily and in reconnecting with Maya. When it was time to say goodbye, they hugged tightly, holding on for a moment longer than usual. "Take care, Maya. I'll see you soon," Jake promised Dot as he walked away. He felt a sense of peace wash over him. He had taken the steps to reconnect with someone he cared about deeply, and it had brought him joy. Unaware of who had watched from the shadows, Jake felt empowered, knowing that love and friendship could transcend distance. With hope in his heart, he looked forward to the future, ready to embrace whatever adventures awaited him. Jake's visit to Maya's city had filled him with happiness and hope. The days spent with her were like sunlight after a long rainy season. He returned home feeling stronger and more connected, but as time passed, the old feeling of distance crept back in. Now, even with the group chat active and messages flowing, Jake sometimes felt lonely. He missed the simple, everyday moments with those he cared about, sharing a cup of coffee, laughing at silly jokes, or just being together in the same room. One evening after work, Jake sat in his favorite chair, staring at his phone. He scrolled through the group chat, reading updates from his friends. Mark was busy with a new job, Sarah was traveling for work, and Maya had started a new art project. Everyone seemed to be moving forward in life. Jake was proud of his friends, but he couldn't help feeling left behind. The distance between him and his loved ones felt like a quiet ache in his heart. Thought about Maya. Their visit had been wonderful, but now she was busy again, and their calls were less frequent. Jake wanted to talk to her, to tell her about his day, to hear about hers. But every time he picked up the phone, he hesitated. What if he was bothering her? What if she was too busy? Slowly, Jake started to doubt himself. The feeling of distance grew stronger. Jake tried to keep himself busy. He volunteered at the local community center, helped his neighbors with small chores, and even started a new hobby, gardening. But nothing seemed to fill the space that his friends had left behind. One Sunday morning, Jake went for a walk in the park. As he strolled through the quiet paths, he saw a group of children playing near the pond where he had once saved Lily. He watched them for a moment, remembering how that one act of kindness had changed his life. He remembered the feeling of rushing to help, not thinking about fear or danger, just wanting to do what was right. A thought struck him. Maybe he needed to be brave again, not in saving someone from danger, but in reaching out to the people he loved. He realized that he had been letting doubt and fear stop him from reconnecting. If he could act without hesitation to save a child, he could also act to save his friendships. That evening, Jake sat down with a notebook and wrote a letter to Maya. He poured his heart into the words, telling her how much he missed her and how important their friendship was to him. He wrote about his worries and his hopes, about the simple things he missed: her laughter, her advice, even their quiet moments together. He ended the letter with a promise to always try, no matter how far apart they were. He took a picture of the letter and sent it to Maya, along with a short message. "I wanted to share how I feel. I hope we can talk soon." To his surprise, Maya replied quickly, "Jake, thank you for your honesty. I've been feeling the same way, but I didn't know how to say it. Life gets busy, but I don't want our friendship to fade. Let's make time for each other, even if it's just a quick call or a message." Her reply filled Jake with relief and hope. They set a time to talk every week, even if only for a few minutes. They kept their promise, sharing stories, updates, and small moments of joy. Sometimes they would video chat and cook dinner together.